This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
They start the season with a win.
The Perth Wildcats were superior, and they have come from 11 points down to prevail by 6 points.
It's a powerful performance from Perth, and it is a win to the Wildcats.
Perth Wildcats undefeated under new coach John Rillie. The ultimate response from Melbourne United.
It is all over here. The Tasmania Jack Jumpers have their highest score and their biggest win in franchise history.
Tasmania were very good. Perth Wildcats not so good.
This is Creek, who's been busy. He's Mitch Creek, leads Creek. It opens up for him in the lane. Gets inside, kicks to Creek, who measures the triple. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix come from 11 down in the second quarter and get it done here by a single point.
We've seen the good, the bad, and the downright ugly from the Perth Wildcats so far this season. Which team will we see tonight on their home floor at RAC Arena? It's been a week of soul searching for John Rillie and his men, and they have a challenge on their hands because the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix have said all along, we'll be fine once the help arrives. And now the help is here, and they have won their last two in style. Great to have your company for Friday night hoops in the West as the Wildcats play host to the Phoenix. Jack Heverin joined in commentary by two icons of the NBL, Andrew Gaze and Leonard Copeland. This is a very big game for the Wildcats.
It certainly is, Jack, and it's early on in the season, and that man on your screen, Bryce Cotton, he's a superstar, still is a superstar and will be for some time yet. But he has had some problems from the three-point line. His three-point field goal percentages are down and still a long way to go. And what they experienced in Tasmania, where you just had a team that locked them up, and how they deal with it and perhaps find other targets along the way. And, you know, they'd be looking at some players and looking at their combinations to try and figure that out. And we heard Greg Hire just talking about Luke Travers and what he can do. But the one that I think has been a little down is Brady Manick, only averaging the 10 points. And I don't know if you saw the NCAA finals last season when he was with North Carolina. He can really shoot the ball. So, and the other one too is Todd Blanchfield. So, you know, they're going through their ups and downs. But, you know, I think what we learned from the game we just saw is you can't get too high or too low even after you cop a bit of a hiding, because this competition is so brutal. And as the Phoenix have experienced, you don't have your players. Very, very difficult to have consistent performances.
Leonard Copeland, one thing we know about these two teams from their last two meetings, when they get together, good things happen. Now, this takes us back to round 21 in the Hungry Jacks NBL. And the Perth Wildcats had it all to play for. Tied away at 90 at the end of regulation. And then the Phoenix were the ultimate party poopers. And, well, we know the carnage that came as a result of this and as a result of the Wildcats. As you can see, the very, very end of this one, Cotton had a chance to win it. The Phoenix won the game at the end of overtime. They won by 2. And in doing so, punched an enormous hole in the Perth Wildcats and their finals aspirations.
You better believe they remember this. The fans remember it. Cotton, those players remember this. So this is a personal game for them. And the fact that Perth lost by so many points last week, I honestly think they're going to be really fired up for this game. I mean, you're at home in front of 13,000, 14,000 of your own screaming fans. It's hard not to get up for this.
In this game, we've got the two leading scorers in the Hungry Jacks NBL so far this season. There's Mitch Creek, who's had an outstanding start to this season, and he's playing off no pre-season and has a foot injury as well that he's working his way through. And he's up against the master, Bryce Cotton. It's Bryce's league. We're all just watching it. But it's a very, very even start to the season for both of these two.
Oh, it is. And Mitch Creek has been outstanding. Look at the numbers, the shooting percentages. And he was like this last season, if you remember. He started in outstanding form, and he's one of the elite players of the competition. He's also the heart and soul of the team. You see the way in which he rallies the troops. He brings them together. When the going gets tough, he steps up. So he's going to be important here in this very hostile but fun environment. And here's another matchup, Copes, that I think is going to be really important. It's vastly different players, but look at the numbers of Kyle Adam in particular.
Absolutely, and Kyle comes off that bench. I don't know if he's starting tonight, he can get going. And we've seen that, and we know that. He's a player that played for us in Sydney, and once he gets going, and look out because, and look, he's small, and he has a baby face, but he can get it going.
Champion starting 5 for the Perth Wildcats. Sean Thomas back from an ankle injury. Played last weekend, had 12 points in round 1. He's still working his way back to fitness at the moment. And the champion starting lineup for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Well, now that they have got their players back, Copes, now that they've got Ryan Brockhoff back, they've got Trey Kell back, and they've got Gary Brown back, that starting 5 looks a lot different.
They look a whole lot different, and you can tell the last time they played. And look, Brown, Trey, Kell, they both can finish at the basket and both shoot the ball well. Brockhoff doing what he usually does, which is make big shots and rebound the ball well. But then Creek, who needs to be aggressive early.
And it's so deep. Let's not forget about Joe Chi, who coming off, he's still underdone, only playing 12 minutes in his 3 games. That's incredible deep lineup that Phoenix have been able to put together.
The Phoenix coming off wins in their last 2 after 3 straight losses. Complete opposite for the Wildcats, who have lost their last couple.
And they go to Brady Manick early on, and that's by design. Try and get him going, averaging 10 points a game, and a good look off the good old-fashioned Trevor Gleeson flex cut.
Mitch Creek, nice spin, and the score to start the game for the Phoenix.
That's a great play for him because, yes, Brady can play, but he's a rookie. This is his first time away from home, or his first time on the road overseas. Creek's a veteran. Give him the ball, let him go at him straight away.
Well, it was, and here we take a look at the foul. Not much doubt about that one. Take your pick. And Mitch Norton, who looks like he's had a few issues perhaps during the week. In the lip.
What here? What?
Not normally one to shy away from contact.
No, he's certainly not going to do that. And his defense is critical. And you saw Brown and what he was able to do in crunch time against the Brisbane Bullets. And Mitch Norton getting up and getting in and just making a statement.
That's his
early
game.
on.
Letting him know, I'm going to be here all night long.
Yes. Gary Brown had 11 assists on Saturday in the Phoenix win over Brisbane and had 9 on Thursday against New Zealand. We've only seen him in 2 games so far. He can distribute. As Manick goes down off the pick. That's out of bounds. Southeast Melbourne ball, 15 on the shot clock.
And you're right early, Joey, when you said Cotton needs some help. Those other guys, Blanch and Manick, need to score the rock early to loosen things up for Cotton.
Alan Williams with his first points. He's made a very solid start to life here in the NBL. Cotton top of the key. That's out of bounds.
Simon.
And the Southeast Melbourne ball. Great to have Greg Hire part of our team tonight. 4-time NBL champion with the Perth Wildcats. He's royalty at RAC Arena. Greg, tell us about what the week's been like for the Perth Wildcats.
Yeah, it would have been a big gut check. Certainly they've been challenged. A lot of the words in the media, some Wildcat legends talking about their performance against the Jack Jumpers. And you could sort of see a different mindset straight away from the game. John really had a very animated conversation with Brady Manick to start the game, and we saw that the very first pass. So this is a real challenging game. It'll set the standard for the season, I reckon.
Thank you, Greg. Alan Williams swats Todd Blanchfield out of bounds.
And the signs are really good early on here for the Phoenix and the ease at which they've been able to get to the basket. A little bit of bully ball first time. And that time Brown just way too easy, I think it was, for the easy 2.
To Sean Thomas. Mitch Creek makes a good business decision to get out of the way. Thomas with a jam. Couple of minutes played at RAC Arena. Brockhoff, catch and shoot 3. And the Wildcats ball. Here's the Amy replay. It's to Sean Thomas. As their first import signing this season, Copes, as had a very, very good career playing in Europe. He played in Germany, Italy, Israel, and France, and hasn't really had a chance to get going so far.
No, but you see what he's capable of doing. Got good bounce, and he's going to be important as the season rolls on. But right now, they need to find a way to get him going and others going. And you know what? Get Bryce going as well.
100%.
We talk about how good he is, and yes, he's an absolute superstar. One of the greatest of all time, but right now he's only 26% from the three-point line. 10 of 38 on the season. There's going to be a little pushing foul.
He's 3 of 19 from outside in his last 2 games here.
Wow.
Which is very uncharacteristic.
You know, he's still averaging 21 a game at 44%, so the overall numbers aren't terrible at all.
Don't hold off ball! Don't hold off ball!
Phoenix, the #1 team for first quarters in the competition. They average 24 points a game in the opening term. Williams gets that little push to go from the free throw line.
I just feel like if Cotton had a little bit more help, and Cotton never shies away from a shot, we know that. Other guys look at the basket, shoot the ball, and score. It opens it up a little bit more for Cotton.
Back down to Williams, backs in on to Sean Thomas, and one.
Well, that's not the first time we've seen it. It's not going to be the last. If they're going to play him one-on-one, or if I want Brady Manick guarding Mitch Creek one-on-one, the Phoenix are going to take advantage of it. And they do that in that time, and size prevailed.
67 games in the NBA for Alan Williams with Phoenix and Brooklyn. His whole career has been doing it the hard way. He's worked for everything that he's got at every level, and
great rebounder.
I think we're seeing that already, Copes, how much of a competitor he is.
He definitely has love for the game. Hard worker, likes to bang, will rebound the ball well.
It's Corey Webster into the game for his first minutes.
Speaking of help, this guy can get going. And he's aggressive. He looks for the shot.
Creek in transition, happy to take it at Brady Manick, and off the window for 2 more.
It's like playing against your little brother. Keep saying that.
7-point lead early on. The Phoenix are 6 of 8 from the field. This is how you start a game in the league's most intimidating venue. Brockhoff, nice D. Late whistle, he's called for the foul.
Yeah, and this is where you just got to settle down. You get caught up into this, coming off a real beating last week. You're down on confidence, and how you execute your way through this and get guys going and pick your targets is going to be critical, and it's got to be done by the collective. Sometimes when things aren't going well, the intention of all the individuals is great. The intention is to go out there and really make a statement, but if it's not done with the collective, then it can be counterproductive.
Let's get courtside to Greg Heyer.
Yeah, as Gazy alluded to before, one of those guys that needs to step up is Brady Manick, and I think another guy is Todd Blanchfield, and he just sort of seeing that pressure start building in and creeping in, as you see Luke Travers get a sensational steal, but ideally you need Todd Blanchfield to get his eye back in Brady Manick, and he's sort of seeing everyone get around those two, and you can see the internal pressure start building for them.
And that goes to Copes' point. When they're hitting threes, the closeouts are a little harder, the defense is a little bit more spread, and that opens up the driving lanes.
To Sean Thomas. Drags in that rebound. Great look for Webster on the wing. Doesn't go. 2 of 10 to start the game from the field, the Wildcats.
And 0 of 4 from threes. And a couple of good looks. Corey Webster's not going to get a more wide open look from the three-point line than that last one. And you could almost see when he caught it, that there was a little pause. There was a steady and a guiding of the shot rather than just catching it and then shooting it. And that's a sign that there's just a little bit of nervousness out there.
Cotton has room to
No nerves there. No nerves at all, bro.
That's right. Straight into it. And he's shown throughout the course of his career he could be 1 for 7 fouls and he's still going to come out and look like the next one's going to go in.
For all of their dominance early, the Phoenix, it's only a 2-point game. Fouls on Wagstaff.
So much noise, I don't think they heard the whistle. And they've been good early on. It's clearly Phoenix have said, hey, let's go inside.
You come down. Yeah, you come down.
And that time it was Mitch Creek.
On the turn, you go red.
80 is the magic number for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, Drewy. When they score 80 or more, they're 3-0. When they're under 80, they're 0-3.
Wow. That's pretty emphatic, isn't it? They need to find a way to get their offense going. And with this group that they've got, 80 should be no problem. Should be absolutely no problem because it's just from sheer talent. Forget about your structure, but just roll the balls out there and you should be threatening 80 on most nights. Now, 80's not always going to equate to a win, because, but so far this season, middle of the table, 6th in 82.8 a game for the Phoenix.
Nice hands by Williams. Picked that one off, and he might get rewarded at the other end, although Creek goes himself, and he's got 8.
I love to see when Creek's aggressive. When he's aggressive, the other guys get on board.
Leaning in, he's whistled up for his foul. Southeast Melbourne's 3rd of this opening quarter. We learnt during the week with Mitch Creek that he had an ankle issue coming into the season, and now is working through some plantar fascia issues with his foot, so he's barely training right now. Basically getting himself up for every game. It certainly hasn't affected his start to the season. He's the #1 scorer in the competition so far. There's Joe Cheat. Late signing for the Phoenix, returning.
Yeah, I think Wildcats will have that one.
For his 2nd season. 17-11 lead for the Phoenix. Luke Travers drags in that rebound. Wildcats a little more patient. His trip down the floor. Wagstaff in the low block. Trying to force Brockhoff into his 2nd foul, and does.
That's smart.
He's able to just crap drill that thing and get to his spot. And Brockhoff just retreating, and gets that deep. And there, clear foul on the right arm for Brockhoff. Mitch Creek getting a spell.
There's a guy, Tarangi. Speak about Tarangi, who we know had a couple of years ago had a fantastic season.
Most improved that
Most
season.
improved.
Was lights out from the 3-point line.
But since then, I don't know what's happened to him. He's just not playing the way we've seen him play.
Unfortunately, this season for Ruben Tarangi's 7% from the 3-point line. 1 of 13 coming into tonight. Does offer them a lot on the defensive end of the floor. Here he is with his feet set. You can make that 2 of 14.
All righty then. See?
Good touch pass by Kyle Adnam. And the extra pass finds a wide open Tarangi.
Nice start for his night. Cotton has room.
On those switches, if you're going to switch on Bryce Cotton, you got to switch with those hands up and make sure that you put some pressure on their shot. It wasn't terrible, but you can't just be average against Bryce Cotton.
2 made 3s in this first quarter, both coming via Cotton. And then a Phoenix turnover. Brown with the job of trying to stop Cotton, who's happy to get Majuk involved.
It's coming off the turnover. That was the third turnover for the Phoenix so far. And on ball, deflection. And the Perth Wildcats get things rolling, get the crowd involved. Good timeout.
They were down by as much as 7. They've got it back to 2. Greg Hire caught up with Simon Mitchell, the coach of the Phoenix, before the game, and he spoke about the importance of starting well at RAC Arena.
Yeah, we had a little chat earlier in the week about the importance of starting well here. Obviously, the crowd will be involved, and coming off a couple of tough games here, Perth will really be geared up to get off to a good start. So we want to be able to absorb that from them and get our own going.
Well, they've done that. They have 20 on the board, Copes. We've got 2 minutes and 20 before quarter time, and they lead at this point.
You know what I like about their team? They're so deep. I mean, they've got their starting 5, but then when you bring Adnam and Chi off the bench, along with, Tarangi, these guys are deep. You still got Dan Pernod sitting on the bench, So if they can continue to play good basketball, play defense, knock the threes down, they're going to be tough.
Well, they are, and I think they've still got a lot to give. Like we spoke about with Joe Chi, and even like Trey Curl. He's a way better shooter than a 30% shooter. Gary Brown is better than a 28% shooter. So they've got a lot of upside, even as they get these guys back, get their legs underneath them, a little bit better fitness. And, of course, Ryan Brockhoff, who is an Olympian. When he gets going, it's going to be tough. Really can go and ask some questions of the defense, whoever they're playing against. And this year, the Phoenix, or so far, defense has been a problem for them the last couple of seasons, but they look a lot better with not only the personnel changes, but the intensity and the way in which they're playing on the defensive end.
Fair to say Simon under a little bit of pressure this year, Joey?
I think all the coaches are under pressure in this league.
Tarangi rolls to the cup, and Adnam finds him back door. Greg Hire, you were taking a listen to the Wildcats during that timeout.
Yeah, it was an interesting substitution just before. Todd Blanchfield was actually going to take out Bryce, and then 2 back-to-back threes, and they changed it and left him on. But a strong focus on defensive intensity right there, and that's, I think, what they're going to have to get back to try and win this game.
Thank you, Greg. I just want to go back to that point, Coach. Do you think Simon Mitchell's under pressure?
Absolutely, 100%. And I disagree with the great man over here. I don't think Buford's under pressure. Just won a championship.
Well, that's a good point. That is a very solid point, but you certainly would be feeling it. Oh, that looks like a lot of contact on that one there with Bryce taking it to the rim.
Adnam got Blanchfield up in the air. That runner doesn't drop. A minute remaining in the opening quarter. Travis wanted to go himself and had it stolen away. Creek to the other end of the floor after the Cal pass. 6-point lead for the Phoenix.
Well, it's sloppy, another turnover. And this leads to the easy 2.
And Mitch Creek has 10 points in the opening quarter of basketball. Webster up top. 5 of 16 from the field, Perth.
That's one he needs to knock down.
He had 2 really wide open looks.
Chi over the back will be called for the foul.
Baseline. Good shot.
So the Phoenix over the limit. Perth will walk to the other end of the floor, and
it's going to be Brady Manick. And we spoke about the requirement to get him going. You saw that very first play, clearly designed to try and get him a look, and wasn't able to finish. But since then, he hasn't had a shot. He's only had the one field goal attempt.
Okay, I want you to use your body. you there for me?
But if you had to describe him, what is he? Is he a three-point shooter? Is he a scorer? What is he?
Yeah, he's a scorer. I'm only going on of what he did at college. He's played most of his career at Oklahoma. In fact, when he was a freshman, he came out to Australia with a touring team and played. We played against him when we were at the Sydney Kings, and because of COVID, he had an extra year, went to North Carolina, went to the championship game, and throughout that NCAA tournament, he was elite from the three-point line. And here, making that step international basketball, it's like you said, Coach, a transition. Now, he's a really, really good player. Eventually, he'll get it going. And he's better than what we've seen so far in the season.
But it's nothing like your first.
Mitch Creek on the quarter time buzzer. The Phoenix have rolled into RAC Arena and are doing some damage. 27-18 at quarter time. You're watching Friday Night Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Friday night in the West, and it's an outstanding start by the visitors. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix out of the gates in impressive fashion. They lead 27-18 at quarter time at RAC Arena. Mitch Creek has 13 points in the opening quarter, 5 of 6 from the field, including a late bomb to finish off the opening quarter. Andrew Gaze and Leonard Copeland, that is how you play an opening quarter away from home.
Well, especially when you've got this guy doing everything, and you see the numbers outstanding, and what they're doing is they're pounding it into the paint. Points in the paint, 18 to Phoenix, only 6 to the Wildcats. So nice three ball by Mitch Creek, but their point of emphasis of their 27 points, 18 of them coming from inside the paint.
We talk about starts, Coach, normally for the away team when they play here. Perth's 4 games at home at RAC Arena. They haven't led at quarter time in any of them this year.
And that's a problem. To have a slow start at home, something's not right. And I don't know what it is. Perhaps you change the lineup. Perhaps you run different plays. But if you're playing in front of a crowd this big and you can't get up, then there's a problem.
Norton with 7 on the shot clock. Offensive rebound by Sean Thomas. Wagstaff up top. Can't get that to go. Thomas on the O-glass.
There's been a lot of those opportunities. 31% for the Wildcats, and That's what it's going to take. Sometimes the ball just doesn't drop. You've got to figure out ways to get into the paint, pick up easier scoring opportunities, but most importantly, crash the boards.
There's Trey Cowell at the other end with his first points. Greg Hyatt, you were taking a listen to Simon Mitchell at quarter time.
Yeah, well, the blueprint to beat this team on this court is to play fearless and to start fast. And that's exactly what happened. Simon Mitchell at quarter time challenged them to make Luke Travers into a decision maker. Make Brady Mack come off the pick and roll. And what you're seeing with those guys is starting to expose them and start doubting their confidence.
Well, it is, and there is a nasty hit. And good pass and good transition. Just a little late, Mitch Norton.
Came down on that lower back.
Yeah, just the hit on the floor, I think it was, which, okay, that hurts. It's a stinger, but at least it didn't look like a twist or anything that you think is going to cause any sort of long-term issues.
Only Trey Cowell's fourth game. Another Phoenix player had a disrupted start to the season due to injury. He's played in Canada, he's played in Poland, he's played in Italy, and has won a title in all three countries.
Did I hear that Simon said this guy is their finisher?
Well,
when the ball's on the when the game's on the line, we're giving him the ball and let him go to work.
Him and Gary Brown together.
Gary Brown, yeah, we saw that in the game against the Bullets with Gary Brown, that little step back that he was able to do to close out that one.
Blanchfield has to get going.
He needed that, and I needed to see that myself.
Is he the missing link right now for this Perth?
He is. He can open it up. If he starts to get going, then all the attention goes to him, and it opens it up for Cotton. It opens it up for Travis.
Well, in their wins so far this season, Todd Blanchfield, he's shooting the three ball at 44%. As Cotton in the corner. Back-to-back threes. And a 6-point deficit looks a lot more respectable.
Yeah, quickly a concern. Back, like you say, back-to-back threes.
To run an easy basket underneath.
It is, and just don't look as engaged. You know, we're coming off a game we just watched where we saw just a spectacular defensive performance by the New Zealand Breakers as Bryce Cotton gets into the paint, but you can tell the difference, can't you, when you're watching the Wildcats right now, the level of intensity, they're highly reactive on the defensive end, and some of their action when they're dealing with the on-balls is slow. And
here's the Amy replay. Todd Blanchfield. We're just talking about Blanchfield. As I say, in their wins, he shoots the three ball at 44%. In their losses, he shoots it at 20%.
There you go, right there. It's a massive difference.
That's out of bounds. Perth ball. Greg Hyatt courtside.
Yeah, a staple of the Wildcats' defensive schemes is a mentality of the point guard, you know, dogging the ball, and I think that's what you're seeing right now. Mitch Norton's just on an island, dogging the ball up and in, and there's no one on that second line in defense, and that's where you need that intensity. So they need to get back into that up and in, dogging the ball, intense pressure.
Just explain that a little bit further, boys, in terms of the pressure on the ball carrier.
yeah, they're trying to be disruptive, so meet them up the floor, really put a lot of pressure on the ball, but if you get blown by and there's no help, it's very, very hard when you're doing that and there's no help, and at this level, you need some, have your principles away from the ball.
Or if he makes a pass, why would I use all of my energy to burn myself out when there's nobody behind me giving me a hand?
Mitch Creek just picked up his second foul. Shot clock at 3 for Cotton.
Wow.
Don't worry, he's got it under control.
Get it going early, he can get it going quick.
Well, he has, and 4 or 5 now from the three-point line. All these points coming from downtown.
Has 12 of their 29, Bryce Cotton.
And that's right. If I'm Simon, why not try to take that ball out of Cotton's hand?
Well, I think they're trying. It's just he's so good some of the time.
Here he is again. Oh! And he flies! Air Cotton, set for takeoff.
It was way too easy, but beautiful.
The little fella's still got some bounce. Here it is, you turn your head, he goes back door, and with the two hands, stuffs it into the hoop with a little chin up to go along with it.
Wow.
That is special. Oh, no, Gary Brown.
Eyes wide open on that one.
We caught up with Bryce Cotton pre-game, and he spoke about what this one means to the group and that they've got a bit to prove.
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously coming off of 2 losses, one of them being on our home floor. We definitely got a lot to prove coming out tonight, and it seems like Phoenix is starting to gel as well, so we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's.
Well, he's just taking matters into his own hands now.
And I think you saw the problem there. They had a high screen, so the defense is trying to go over the top of it from the top. When the ball's on the wing, they get it in the post, they run that, so he back cuts. There's no help. There was no help on the weak side. Comes down, and just a beautiful finish. Great bounce. And that gets your teammates and the fans and
but how can he be that wide open?
Because they're trying to fight over the top. Have a look at this for a prize here, Jackie boy.
50K.
That'd be nice.
It's as simple as that, but thanks to Latrobe Financial, aren't they just amazing supporters of Australian basketball? Amazing supporters. There's the details on your screen. It's a nice little run the Wildcats are
on. But I don't
right
understand, again, Drew, you explaining the play. Yeah, how can he get that wide open? When he's the only one scoring, he should have all kinds of attention.
Yeah, well, we'll have a look a little later on. But what it was, the defense is trying to fight over the top of the screen. So they're doing what you were saying, is trying to keep him out of his hands. And then he just back, because there's not the third man rotation, he gets caught out.
Simon Mitchell goes to a different lineup out of the timeout. Junior Madut in for his first minutes of the evening. Blanchfield doesn't get that one to stick. 34-31. The biggest lead of the game was 12. And it's not that long ago. That is beautiful from Brown. Couldn't finish, and Williams just does the muscle work, and it doesn't stick either.
Here's that play we're talking about, Copes. And if you have a look at the way Gary Brown, now it's lazy there, just trying to be on the hot ball side. No help anywhere to be seen. A lot of standing around, and just really good execution from Perth. And you get back to what you were talking about, the defense at the top, just trying to hedge towards the ball, which when you're one pass away, but just got to stay a little bit more connected. Wasn't much of a screen.
I think Brown lost vision as well, so you can't afford to lose vision on Cotton.
Lazy, that's what he's
got lazy. You can't afford to get lazy on Cotton.
Nice pass inside for Majuk. 1 point game. And it's all happening through the hands of the league's #1 player, Bryce Cotton. When he's not scoring, he's facilitating.
Scoring really drying up. Only 7 points in the quarter after 27 in the first, and Bryce Cotton,
he's still going. And then the no-look dive for Travers.
I reckon there were 3 fouls in that one play.
Perth in front. What a turnaround in this second quarter. 14 points, 4 assists for Bryce Cotton. And Travers almost came up with a steal. And the Phoenix score through Cal. Did they need that?
That's just too easy.
Off a made basket. They look fatigued, don't they? Phoenix right now, if you look at their movement, not as sharp on the half court. Certainly Mitch Creek out of the game doesn't help. And just a one-on move that time. Brown gets to the rim, but everything looks so laboured the last couple of possessions.
Look at Bryce.
Just staying with it. And the court vision at the end.
Greg Hire courtside. This game's changing.
You're exactly right. The game turned itself on its head because of that one man, the best player in the league, Bryce Cotton. You can see just from his sheer intensity, his ability to get in the lanes, to make some plays. Obviously, he's got incredible scoring ability. But you just saw Luke Travers running the lanes extra hard, trying to gamble, get a deflection. Todd Blanchfield's now running the lanes, and that's what he can do, and that's what they need in this arena. It's just quiet. It's like that pressure just keep compounding and compounding and compounding. And a moment of brilliance. Now it's momentum shifted to the Wildcats.
Well, I reckon we've seen 4 or 5 moments of brilliance when it's come to Bryce Cotton. These shots, when you're coming off screens at pace and you're moving around, that was probably one of the easier ones. But just his ability, like, that's not easy. Now, he makes it look easy, but coming off and having to pull up, and you just need some gifts to be able to do that. Beautiful pass, good execution. And then even when things seem to go awry, just the will, the sheer determination, the competitiveness of the man, he's able to find a way to get things done. He is a delight to watch.
Oh, he's special. He's special.
14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and a couple of highlight moments.
They were down 12 at one stage, the Wildcats, early in this second quarter. Since then, they've gone on a 17-4 run.
And it's all Bryce Cotton. I mean, yeah, other guys made shots, other guys contributed, but it was him that put him on his back, made the right plays, got him going. And again, we spoke about it. When other guys are going, they take sort of that attention off Cotton. But he's gonna need some help. He can't do it by himself the whole year.
Gary Brown on the free throw line.
What?
Only a small sample size, but from what we've seen, he can do a bit of everything. He's plus 15 with his time on the floor in his first 2 games, which is better than any player in the competition right now. So a response needed from the Phoenix out of the timeout. The crowd have become a factor at RAC Arena. Travers underneath.
Lovely move. And that's what he brings to the table.
He's got 6 points. Joe Cheat.
And that's what he brings to the table. High pick and roll.
Well, they're showing, Hopes. They're hard showing. So that time, the little slip, you come out. You really can't show on those until you see the ball carrier's gone past the post. Otherwise, those slips are going to be on. Uh-oh.
Blanchfield, offensive rebound, can't get it to go, and points will count. Cheese slapped the backboard. Here's another look at it. Here's Joe Cheat. Lead changes back and forth in quarter number 2. Junior Madut back out on the floor.
And they've given him the assignment on Bryce Cotton, so that's a lot of faith in him. But he's also said, well, I might have my problems down on the defensive end, but I'll just splash a 3 to make sure I keep the scoreboard ticking
exactly
over.
Right. And if you can't beat him, join him.
Well, Madut's had Bryce Cotton the last 2 times. They made the change this possession. A little rush that time by Manning.
Great to see him get going.
Only 2 field goal attempts for him. Now Brown's 3 out of bounds.
And that last one was like, well, I haven't had a shot. I'm just going to let one fly. Here we see the cross-court pass, and that's a good-looking stroke. Nice arc on the shot. Nothing but net. And good find by Brown. That's what he does. He runs a team, spreads the floor. And I think that, like we saw that first play, we haven't seen anything else like. If you're going to try and get Brady Manning going, maybe a little flex cut, put him on the box, get him moving, getting some action. Because that last one, he just thought, well, I got to find a way to get myself involved here. I just let it fly on a one-pass action.
Wildcats coming off their biggest loss since round 20, 2018. Cotton is causing them all sorts of problems. 3 free throws coming.
You can tell Simon Mitchell not happy. See, here's Madud now. Don't go under.
Don't ever.
What? You should never go under Bryce Cotton. Now, that's just a mistake. The young fella's still trying to figure things out. And he's got a really good athlete. You see he's long. You see what Simon Mitchell sees in this opportunity for him and why he'd be doing it. But that's where you just got to stay with your rules. Even if you're late, you're coming, you swipe from behind, whatever it may be. But if you go under, you're cooked.
But obviously, you need some help.
You need some help no matter where you go, under, over, whatever it may be.
100%.
He makes all 3. We haven't seen Ryan Brockhoff at all in this second quarter. Picked up 2 fouls midway through quarter number 1, and Simon Mitchell hasn't gone back to him at any stage in quarter number 2. Creek also out there with 2 fouls.
Well, I was going to say a lot of that's probably because Terrani's knocked down a couple of shots, got himself involved, scored a couple of baskets. And I think it's more about the position than just the player, what I can get out of this spot. How many rebounds, how many points I can get out of the 3 spot, the 4 spot, and whoever's rolling, then you sort of you roll with them.
Manic trying to find a good position on Creek and eventually found a way to make it happen.
Well, that's his first points for the game.
And 3 is the Wildcats' biggest lead in the game as well.
Oh, dear.
Tarangi with the travel and then
just
the pass out of bounds.
War pass. There, I guess.
And he's about to jog onto the side of that bench. Come on, bro. Got a little seat over here for you. I need to have a chat with you.
Don't look at the coach on the way past.
No, sir.
Oh, dear.
Manic almost gave it back.
That's tough. That's tough.
And that's the evolution, just the read and feel for the game. The little hesitation, brings it in there, little hesitation, goes by a really good defender in Mitch Creek. Easy too.
Cal, little fall away over the top of Travers.
I'm going at Creaky again. Creaky's got 2 fouls. He's not going to stick his hand in the cookie jar. Give the ball to Travis or Cotton. Sorry. Let him go to work.
Brown with the job of trying to stop Cotton. He'll step back.
Turn it up.
No, sir.
He is so good. It's ridiculous.
Well, when he's in this frame of mind, a little bit of pressure on the Perth Wildcats. Never fear, Cotton is here.
Tough time at RAC Arena.
To get to a championship level, we need to buy into being the best version of our individual selves.
Walks into his third.
And then Bryce Cotton.
Hands off to Cotton, inside 5 minutes, crosses over. It'll never get old.
Bryce Cotton, and what makes him good is, doesn't matter whether it's game day or Monday morning in practice, he wants to win everything.
Brisbane have scored just 2 points, and they're starting to have issues looking after the basketball. Cotton puts Krebs on skates. How good is this man?
The question you ask about Bryce Cotton and where he fits as the all-time great import, the way I would measure that is championships. So me as a head coach, I've got to do my job and provide him with the opportunity to win championships. When you talk about your own personality, the way I want to coach, I want to be high IQ, understand the game, share the ball, be a great teammate, but at the other end, have an intensity and a purpose about what we're trying to do, and I think the Red Army will enjoy what we do. I'm loving the challenge of what the Perth Wildcats organisation and franchise is.
When we go down this end, ball pressure without gambling.
You know, I'm not just here to make up the numbers, but at the end of the day, you've got to be yourself, and I think your team reflects you. So I want to be a passionate competitor, but I also want my team to have that as well.
He's a first-time coach here in the Hungry Jacks NBL, John Rillie. 481 NBL games, a championship winner and a flat-out scorer in his own right, but this is a whole different challenge that he's got now.
It is, and it's a great one for John. He comes well prepared with his experiences in the college ranks, and of course, let's not forget, he was part of Brian Goorjian's coaching staff when they went over and won a bronze medal in Tokyo, so he's well equipped. And you know what makes really good coaches? Really good players. And what we've seen is one of the all-time greats in Bryce Cotton, and that first half of basketball is a man that's taken personally what happened against the Jack Jumpers, put the team on his back and delivered at all over the floor, but in most spectacular fashion on the offensive end.
Absolutely, he's done a fantastic job, and it's just not him scoring. By him moving without the ball, by him setting screens. But you know what? He's going to need some help, Jordan. As good as he is and as great as he is, he can't continue to carry this team by himself the whole year.
Well, I think offensively, you see that the 51 points, outstanding, and they're up to 50% from the field. But down the other end, there's been some times when it's been un-Perth Wildcats like what they're doing on the defensive end. They've still got some things to figure out, and if they're just going to rely on Bryce Cotton doing something out of this world, then they're going to lose more than they win, because it takes a whole lot more. Yeah, he's going to be great, but offensively, like you referred to, Coach, certainly need to chip away, but defensively, it needs to be better than what we've seen so far. But because of that offense, have a look, 50%, 38% from the three-point line, and hey, we're talking a lot about the Wildcats. Phoenix, they came out of the gates really well, and this game is well and truly far from over, but the 4 of 13 from the three-point line, and the points in the paint started to even up in that second quarter. We saw that they have a profound advantage in that first quarter to the Phoenix, but they were able to pick it up, the Wildcats.
This might be, I know we're only in round 5, so we don't want to get too carried away too early.
No, get carried away.
Oh, in fact, bugger it, let's get carried away.
Let's get carried away.
Coach, I'm not sure we'll see a better quarter of basketball by an individual this season than what we saw from
Not at all. Not at all. And he needed to do this for the Wildcats. He got going, and once his eye is on that rim and that ball falls, you better believe the next one's going. But look at this dunk. Look at the little fella get up and dunk the ball, his eyes wide open. Amazing passing. Amazing shooting. He is the Wildcats.
But what it is, it's a champion with that competitive instinct to not want to have lived through what they lived through last week. And sometimes you put that effort and you don't get the reward. But when you combine that with incredible skills like Bryce Cotton has got, and I think that he, like Coach, again, he needs a little help from his teammates as well.
Yes.
A little more help, I should say.
We all need a bit of help in life, and that's where Latrobe Financial come in, because with thanks to one of the great supporters of Australian basketball, you at home could win $50,000.
Bring it on.
Hey fans, this season with thanks to Latrobe Financial, we are giving away a guaranteed $50,000. And like these NBL legends, Wortho and Gibbo, you can be a Latrobe Financial legend. All you need to do is send in a clip of you making a half-court shot for your chance to win a semifinals opportunity to shoot from half court for $50,000. All thanks to Latrobe Financial. Head to the NBL website now to enter.
And that will be half-time. 47-41 to Brisbane. They've responded to bullets each time they've been challenged.
How do we rate our effort right now? How do we rate our talk right now? I think we've played 90 seconds of defense right now. 90 seconds. Okay? That's it. We got to find the energy within each other. And it's everybody. I can see it right now. We've got to turn the switch on, boys. Okay? It cannot wait. It cannot say, well, I'll wait on someone else to get it going. You, every one of you, take responsibility for turning the switch on when we get out of this room. We look listless, we look poor, we look defeated. We've got another chance, 20 minutes, turn that around. These two turn up every week to come see us, okay? We owe it to them. Leave it on the floor. Here we go.
Hard work on three. 1, 2, 3.
Hard work. Let's go, boys.
Well, that was Simon Mitchell at halftime of last week. We thank the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix for making that available to us. How much different would the message have been at halftime in this game? There's a few similarities.
Well, there is. I don't think you can question their effort. They've been out there a couple of possessions. You know, that's need to do better. But, you know, sometimes you get a little strategy. What you're trying to do is important, but effort, determination, intensity. Sometimes without that, it doesn't matter what strategy you use.
I got a question for you now. When you bring over these new guys and they play against Cotton, do you think that's a smart move? You put them against Cotton. Don't you think you need someone who's been here and seen what he's done.
Yeah, well, helps, that's for sure. It certainly helps.
Knows you can't leave him, or you can't lose sight of him, or you can't go under on him.
Well, all these players, nice pass. See, now you start to get other people involved, the hard show, but all these players that Phoenix have got, though, they're not rookies. They've been around, played in some big...
Yeah, but they've never played against Cotton.
No, I know, but you've been in these big moments, and it's just, you go through your scouting report, you prepare, and he is a handful. I don't care how much experience you've got, he's going to be a handful.
Four-time NBL champion Greg Hire courtside with us tonight. Greg, what have you made of the first half?
Yeah, I mean, what a roller coaster of a game. The Southeast Melbourne had the run, and then Bryce Cotton's brilliance really brought him back into the game. But the one thing I want to focus on is the halftime comment that I heard from the great man. Great players make great coaches. I'm a bit curious about that because the greatest player of all time in Australia history, Andrew Gaze, didn't make a great coach, but that was fantastic.
Now, hang on, that's not fair. That is not fair. Build a foundation. Didn't we, Coach?
What about Greg Hire?
Don't put me in it.
On debut, just goes, cop that.
I know.
He's not going to be pushed around.
Greg, you probably won't be here long. This might be your last. This could be your last broadcast, bro.
You made a mistake and didn't try and sign me.
Apologize, bro.
That's right.
Greg, it might just be worth updating the LinkedIn profile, Greg, if you're going to go Gazy again.
No. You know what you're talking about here, pal?
Hey, Mr. Kesselman. Yeah. We just need to reevaluate our style.
No, I love it.
Absolutely.
5-point lead of the Wildcats. They trail by as much as 12 in the second quarter. Williams called for an offensive foul now.
These are more the adjustments you make when you're an international player. You know, the little hook there. I mean, that's going to be
You get away with it overseas a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more from time to time, but it's just points of emphasis that each league has that you need to pick on. Those little nuances, and there's a beautiful pass. On-ball screens, rollers the last couple of times. He come Bryce Cotton conscious.
And again, it's because Bryce Cotton's on fire, and he's done his work the first half. Now the attention's on Bryce. Other guys cut to the basket and get wide open layups. He's a willing passer. He'll pass that ball and get you a lot of
that is true, but Williams there just needs to, you know, if you're staying on the roll and you're not helping on Bryce and you're not taking away the roll, you're not really doing anything. And as such, Dane Pinot comes in because the last couple of possessions, it's been pick and roll defense that's really let him down. And as you mentioned, Coach, right from the top, Dane Pinot is renowned for what he can do in that situation. That's going to be an offensive foul. Is it on Dane Pinot on the catch?
Or is that Creaky? If it's Creaky, it's 3, I think.
It is Mitch Creek. Wow. And that will be foul number 3. Now, they have Creek with 3, Williams with 3, Kell and Brockhoff with 2.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Now, I'm going at Creaky. He's either going to foul or give you a layup because he don't want to come out of this game.
Bryce Cotton.
And you know what? When he's been out of the game, there's a noticeable difference in the way in which Phoenix plays. So Simon Mitchell, he's going to have to, and looks like he's going to gamble with him and I like it. Leave him out there. Because right now, it's that part of the game. Look at the hustle of Cotton as well. Almost come up with his own 0-0 boards.
Trey Kell steps out for 3. Brockhoff scrapping for it. Took on a couple of Wildcats, but Blanchfield takes control. I was about to say, Cotton had 20 at halftime. He's done it twice this year. The only other player to do it was Nathan Sobey on last night. He had 22.
And it was a beautiful 22 as well.
Bryce has just said, well, I've shown you what I can do putting the ball in the hole. Check out what I can do as a facilitator. The last 3 actions, on-ball screen, and he's there hitting the roller, just getting people involved, sharing it around. And while they've got this little buffer, not a lot, Bryce gets a quick breather. And this won't be a lot, because what did he play? He played 19.5 minutes in that first, or whatever it was, in that first half. So he hasn't spent a lot of time. And I guess here with this little buffer, John really needs to try and find a way to give him a breather.
Just on that, you two are two of the great scorers that we've ever seen in this competition, but you've got 20 at the half.
That's 4 on Creaky.
Wow.
The first one could have been.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's 4 fouls. That's a stupid foul, Creaky, because when you do that kind of stuff, you got to sit down now. That one, the one before, could have easily been a foul as well.
Gee, when that's your fourth, was that
not smart?
A little soft, though, Coach?
No, that wasn't. He threw the elbow. He threw the elbow out there.
Okay.
This is not a smart one.
That is now a significant problem. It's 39-21 since quarter time. Perth looked a little clunky in that first term, but they've roared to life since then. Mitch Creek off the floor. Where is the spark going to come from for the visitors?
Well, you don't have a lot of scorers out there. Dane's not really Dane Pinot's not really a scorer, and Tarangi's not.
This is where Brockhoff's got to come into his own. You know, he's coming up. There's a clear foul as well by Norton. And you're right, Copes, when you look at this lineup on the floor and you say, well, where are the points going to come from? Brockhoff is the one you're expecting a lot from. Sat a lot of that first half with those 2 fouls. He's only had 2 field goal attempts, 3 points in the contest, and dealt with some injuries last season. And he's had his challenges as well, trying to get going this season. It's not like you look at him and see that he's in rare form either, only averaging 8 points in 25 minutes an outing.
57-49 at RAC Arena. The Wildcats 3-2 on the season. The Phoenix 3-3.
And Cotton back in the game already, Gazy. He said he wasn't going to sit for long.
1 minute, 1 or 2 possessions.
Brown steps back. Got it. They've got Gary Brown in this team to be their closer. It's a little early for that, but they just need someone to drive them back in the right direction right now. That'll help their cause. Brockhoff pulls up for 3. Back-to-back trebles for the Phoenix. Timeout, Perth.
Drew, you mentioned it. You said it. If he gets himself going, he can get hot.
Terrible pass by Luke Travers that last possession. Just not a lot of game awareness, perhaps taking the foot off the pedal. And a momentum change. And not a lot in it, but that little 1 minute, you take Bryce Cotton out of the game.
1 minute.
And things can change quick.
How quickly they can score. Perth were up by 9, and then back-to-back threes has made it a 2-point game. And with thanks to MG this season, we're giving away a brand new MG ZS EV electric car. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of these, actually. Valued at $44,990. You can enter now at nbl.com.au/WinMG. We've got legends in commentary. Greg Heyer is a Perth legend courtside, and he's got another legend of the NBL next to him.
Absolutely. We got NBL royalty in Tony Ronaldson. Mate, what's been the, I guess, your feedback, or what are you seeing in that first half?
At the start, the Wildcats were just getting killed on the on-ball and just dribble penetration. I think they've really tightened that up now, and it's reflective in the score. So John's made some good adjustments and playing well.
Obviously one of the NBL's best pick and pop guys. What would your advice be to a guy like Brady Manick that's struggling from the outside?
Keep shooting. You don't wonder, and you've got to keep going and play to your strengths and your game, and try and get some easy inside baskets, and that'll open up the outside.
Thanks, Tony.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
What a player. What a player. You two had some incredible battles with Tony Ronaldson and the Southeast Melbourne Magic.
No, he was the bear he was known as Travers knocks down the 3, adding that to his game, becoming better at it at the very least. but Tony Ronaldson hit one of the biggest shots in Australian basketball history, yes, sir, in the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games, as Ryan Brockhoff, as we mentioned, you asked the question of where the scoring comes from. Brockhoff sees that Creek is on the, not on. He understands that someone's got to step up, and he'd knocked down now back-to-back threes for him.
Cotton's pass chopped off by Brown. He'll lay it up, and we're tied at 60.
Wow.
This has been a great response by
Perth
Phoenix.
has made a couple of bad turnovers, and Southeast Melbourne are definitely taking advantage of them. Bad passes.
Nice stroke from from Webster, I should say. It's a 12-5 run right now.
And Webster's another guy that needs to get going. I mean, yeah, he's coming off the bench, but he's at 1 for 5, I think he is, so far. He's had a couple of good looks in the first half. It just didn't go down for him, but when he shoots the ball well, that will definitely help the Wildcats.
I think it was Thomas, but you see down the other end, as we spoke about, but get the scoreboard ticking over, but down there, that was a really easy possession for Phoenix.
There's Corey Webster.
There you go.
Nothing like seeing that ball go in the basket.
1 of 5 in the game. His first field goal. Greg Hires courtside. Are we just starting to see a little bit of fatigue with the great one, Greg?
Oh, certainly, mate. He's definitely sucking in the big ones, and this happened 2 weeks ago against Melbourne United. He had a massive first half, and whilst there's guys stepping up, Luke Travers, Corey Webster right there, this is definitely a worrying sign, and you don't want it to be a trend where your star guy comes third, fourth quarter where those shots become short, and they heavily rely on him, which has been a classic case of Perth Wildcats basketball.
And I think too, because Perth is starting so slow in that first half, Cotton puts him on his back and burns out and uses all of his energy, and it affects him in the second half.
Top of the key. Tarangi fouls, and they're over the limit, so he'll be on the free throw line. Even look at their quarter-by-quarter stats, Copes. Now that we're 4 rounds completed, the sample size is worth actually using, but they fall away in terms of their points per quarter. And I wonder whether that's got something to do with your point and Greg's point, is that they start slow, they have to play a big game of catch-up, and they haven't got a lot left in the tank after half-time.
Absolutely. And I asked that question, do they change the lineup? Do they run different plays? Do they start off in a different offense early, something to get them going? I mean, it's something they got to fix quick, because if they don't, teams will take advantage of it.
3 players in double figures for Perth. Cotton with 22, Travers with 11, and to Sean Thomas with 10. That one jumps out for Brown. Mitch Creek sitting on the bench right now with 4 fouls. You think we won't see any further part for him in this third quarter.
Simon wants to travel.
Well, they've actually been able to hang on and do a good job while Creek's been out of the game. So this has been a real bonus for Phoenix, and we see a pushing foul.
Please, for a second.
Simon wanted to travel on it.
Waxed up.
Jesse might have put just a tad of mayo on it, but still, that was a pretty easy one for the officials, you think.
There's some youngsters. It's Halloween this weekend. And did you dress up for Halloween, Gazy? Did you get in the spirit?
No, we used to when the kids were a little younger, but not in recent times.
I'll tell you what, one thing he has done, he's had a lot of Halloween candy.
Today I have.
Yes, you
You
have.
have to. It's part of the celebrations.
He's celebrating Halloween, are you?
That's right.
There's Ruben Tarangi. Well short on that 3. Brockhoff reels it back in for the Phoenix, who trail by 7. Adnam into the paint, blocked by Travers.
Kyle's averaging 15 points a game, and Oh, did he score? Has he scored? He hasn't scored.
We haven't played a lot.
I think, yeah, he's only played 7 minutes. Wagstaff posting up on Brown. He's short as well. 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Brockhoff open. Wow. That's his third.
Wow. He's feeling it. Get him the ball.
That was deep too, and that's because he's seen a couple go in, starts to get his confidence going, and nice hit.
4 of 5 from the field for Ryan Brockhoff. He's doing everything he can to keep the Phoenix in the game as Wagstaff rolls to the basket.
Just smart, veteran, savvy.
Wildcats had it out to a 9-point lead early in the third quarter. The Phoenix have stayed with it. Adnan was there for a while. When he eventually got it, bottom of the net.
It wasn't a great pass. He had to reel it in, bobbled around, and still good enough to knock it down.
A couple of big shots late for Southeast Melbourne. Offensive rebound by Majuk. Cotton's got everyone chasing him around, which meant that Webster had space. It doesn't go.
He's had a couple that were right on line, just didn't fall for him.
Tarangi inside for Dane Pinot. 2-point game at RAC Arena.
And beautiful execution. They got in that action, double teamed up the top, and they pass out of it, and the rotations came, but they just, the extra pass. Really nice by the Phoenix.
2-second differential between the game and shot clock. Cotton, the game's leading scorer with 22. Attracts the double team. Travers shot it like he meant it.
He's solid from there now, guys. He's starting to knock that shot down more consistently.
Late hit for the Wildcats, and they will take a 5-point lead into three-quarter time. Good things happen when these two teams play at this venue, and we're set for a big finish again. Don't go too far. You're watching the Hungry Jacks NBL. Three-quarter time at RAC Arena. The Wildcats leading the Phoenix 74-69. A beautiful night in Perth as well. A crowd of 11,103 in the house. And when things looked like they were sliding away in that third quarter for the Phoenix, Ryan Brockhoff steps up and now has a season-high 12 points.
He does, and Mitch Creek got into foul trouble and they needed somebody to lift the game. Brockhoff saw that first shot go in, and he just wanted every ball he got. And look, that shot is beautiful when it leaves his hand. He got going. He 4 for 5 in that quarter, 12 points.
Creaky back in.
Playing with 4 fouls. Cal, Adnam, Pinot, and Brockhoff out there with him. Thomas, Norton, Cotton, Travers, and Brady Manick for the Wildcats. Brockhoff cuts and scores.
He can't miss.
And what a good set. Used up all the 24. Got it through some hands, explored various options, and then just at the end, the penetration and the extra pass.
The 12 that he had in the third quarter, Ryan Brockhoff, was his highest scoring quarter in the 41 games we've seen him here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Oh, hang on.
He's found his range. He's found his range.
And you can see they're almost daring him to shoot it. He's been wide open at each and every one. Now that he's made 3 of them, time now to reevaluate. Got to close out, contest a little harder. Don't just allow the 3-ball.
Shot it at 25% last year, Ryan Brockhoff, at 36 coming into this game. So the improvements there. He's obviously been working really hard on that long-range shot.
Well,
you're talking about Travers or
Travers? Yeah.
I think he still has aspirations of playing in the NBA. And I think that's probably one of the things they needed for him to work on.
Yeah.
Is to be more consistent behind that 3-point line, and he's showing as Mitch Creek gets going again. But if I'm Perth, I'm going to go at Creek. Creek, no one does that. He's got 4 fouls. Make him play some defense now. Make him stick his hand in there and draw that 5th foul.
Manick in the corner. Has that rattle out?
Well, he had Creek on him, and Manick's not probably the one to do that off the bounce. And maybe that's where you get him into a screening situation, force Creek into a switch.
Or post up, post him up.
Or post him up, yep.
Brockhoff pushed in the back under the basket. Let's get courtside to Greg Hire.
Have to remark on the influence that Dane Pinot's had as he X's out Valiant Williams. I think they, at that moment in the third quarter, they were getting sliced and diced. Thomas was getting whatever he wanted. Bryce Cotton was slipping past. He's had a tremendous impact, as you guys mentioned. Who was going to step up? Maybe on the scoreboard, I think he had 4 to 6 points. His impact on the boards and his intensity on the defensive end definitely changed the game.
Yeah, and then those points he got was just being in the right place at the right time around the basket, the little drop-off pass. What he did, though, is down the other end. Those on-ball situations, they were getting picked off. And Dane comes in there and does a better job on the roller. He's also, if you're forced into a switch, he actually, for a big man, can slide his feet and keep people in front of him.
Probably the best I've seen. I'm not just saying this, but when you get him in a pick and roll and he's a help guy, he's probably the best at getting out, showing, and getting back to his man.
Brown stole it away from Cotton.
Sloppy.
Lost the handle. Perth dodged a bullet.
Lucky. There we see Bryce Cotton hustling back. Did it beautifully. Just put his hands up, got his body in the way, and good defense by Bryce in that open court transition.
The Phoenix looking to win tonight. Have a 4-win, 3-loss record to start the season. That'll be an offensive foul on Jesse Wagstaff.
And it wasn't needed either. Jesse Wagstaff called for the foul. Bryce had found what they were doing early on, and it's going to be wide open underneath.
As you see Williams stepped out, where Dane's different is Dane would step out, but he's able to get back to his guy before that pass is made.
Williams didn't need on that one with the double drags. He didn't really need to go as high either. And Wagstaff called for the offensive foul.
Earlier tonight, New Zealand Breakers winners over the Adelaide 36ers. Nice pass, Creek for Williams, and they tie it away at 77.
You got a ball game.
And Norton out of control, and that caught Blanchfield's foot. This has not been a good start to the fourth quarter for the home team.
No, it's sloppy and it's stagnant. Here we see just the penetration. Gee, it might have got away with a foul there. Cal reached in.
Well, that on the Amy replay. And then a quick foul for Perth. That's their third of the period. And a fourth, I should say, and we've got 7 minutes remaining.
Wow.
That's a problem for them.
Now, my next play, put your head down and get to the basket. Put some pressure on the referees, put some pressure on the players. And you're in the bonus for the rest of the quarter.
Wagstaff and Norton, 3 fouls each for Perth. 3 wins, 2 losses coming into tonight, the Wildcats. And Williams hustles, loose ball situation. That caught a Perth foot on the way out.
Bodies all over the place. Jeez.
Todd Blanchfield gets up a little sore.
That's why I never dove on the floor, bro. I think in my 17 long years here in Australia, I think I did it one time, and some told me don't do it again.
You don't take the Ferrari into the paddock.
That's exactly right, bro. No, sir. Leave it for the big boys.
No, you're underselling yourself, Cope.
No, I'm not. I never dove on the floor. I'm telling you now.
Six points to 3 to start this fourth quarter. Phoenix have leveled this game up. Adnam, wow, little hook shot.
Adnam with a running Kareem.
Wagstaff almost had it stolen away.
Now, Wagstaff's the kind of guy you can put on that post against Creaky and draw that foul.
It's been a good outing by Tashawn Thomas.
I was about to say the same. Starting to feel comfortable, get acclimatized. Oh dear, Creek wide open. That's a breakdown. Just to allow him to catch, set his feet and catch and shoot.
What is he doing? What is he thinking of?
And that'll be waved away. An offensive foul. Wagstaff took it at Creek. He was up for the challenge. Greg Hire, the fans. Feels like they've gone a little quiet, actually. We'll get courtside to Greg Hire in a moment.
Here we have a look. They're going to challenge the call. They decide Wildcats have called a timeout and they're going to challenge the charge. There was a hint of a foul a little early as they were driving, but that's not what they're challenging. You can't go back. You've got to challenge what actually happened at the end of the play, which was the charge, which was called a charge, and they're suggesting that he wasn't quite there.
What do you have?
Well, we just have another look at it. See, all this is...
That could very easily been called
That could have been a foul, but this one here, the left arm.
Hands.
And then the hand. Now, at the end, gee, I think it's going to be hard to overrule.
Hands.
That's right there, but you can't. That's not what they. There's the hole.
Yep.
It's that action there,
though. That's what you can see.
That's the one that they're querying.
So I don't think they're going to win this one.
Because if they do,
or maybe
Creaky's
from that angle, it's a little different.
Here's Michael Aylan, senior official.
On review, the coach's challenge is unsuccessful. The call on the floor is confirmed. The foul will remain on red 24, offensive.
Well, there you go. But, hey, Mitch Creek really lucky. A couple of fouls that could have easily have been called with the holding and the hands foul early on.
And why is he up and in with 4 fouls anyway?
Well, he's certainly testing the limits of the officials. And that time he got away with it.
Tomorrow, Illawarra and Melbourne will do battle first. Check your local guides, of course. 5:30 Eastern Daylight Time, and straight after that, Sydney and Cairns back at the cue. Hands got the money when they played last week. The week before, I should say. Sydney looking to bounce back after their last meeting.
And they dodge a ball there because Creaky just made one. He walks in a relatively easy 3.
Cotton kicks it out for Thomas. Gets another look at it. Everyone left. Travers alone.
Well, they ran to Cotton on the wing. Come from the baseline down underneath. They run to Cotton.
That's the attention you draw when you drop 20 in the first half.
See him there. Couldn't quite see it there. See the 2. Creek and Adnam run at Cotton and leave Travers all alone.
Amy replay. Perth back in front by 1.
Yep, that's a great call.
Hard to argue with that.
He's moving while the screen's being set.
And we say this all the time. See, Brown's on the move before Kyle Adnam's set.
Yep.
So Kyle gets the call for the foul. But if Brown just pauses a second, lets him get to that position, then makes that drive, gives a chance. But it's really hard for the screener if you start a little too early.
Wind down to 5 minutes in regular time.
Tough shot.
Cotton with 22 points.
20 in the first.
It's kept the door open for Southeast Melbourne. Brockhoff plays through the contact and scores.
He's on fire.
18 points for Ryan Brockhoff. Equal leading scorer in the game for Southeast Melbourne. And puts them back in front as well.
Ooh. Big fella almost twisted a hip and an ankle.
Norton late in the clock, couldn't come up with it.
Hey, really good defense. Couple of good defensive sets by the Phoenix.
And Norton again crashes the glass. Thomas under the basket scores.
Well done, Norton.
Cannot give them 3 shots at that basket. Cannot give them 3 shots at that basket.
And really good defensive set, but you don't secure the ball, you don't box out, you don't come up with the board. Undoes all that good work on the defensive end.
20 for Creek. Playing with 4 fouls.
Double dribble.
Wow. Norton's not having a great one tonight, is he?
Well, he thought he had Bryce Cotton on the back door, so he picked it up, and then he realised that Cotton was covered, and then just tried to dribble again.
84-83. Timeout call. Pressure situation. 3:37 left. It's a 3-point ball game. A 4-point ball game, I should say. 1-point ball game. Try again.
Too much candy. Too much Halloween candy, Jack.
Not enough. I think that's the problem, Coach. Not enough.
Yeah, and this is really, if you're the Phoenix, to get in this situation where you put yourself in a highly winnable position down the stretch in this really hostile environment. They've been really good to hang on. It looked like the start of the third it was going to get away from them, but they were able to rally, dig deep on the defensive end.
And Brockhoff.
And Ryan Brockhoff gets hot. Mitch Creek gets it going now, and Travers down the other end. 3 times in his career he's had 3 field goals made, and we'll see it again tonight.
I tell you what, though, they have done an exceptional
1-point game at RAC Arena.
They've done an exceptional job on Cotton in the second half. What do you have, 20 at half?
Yeah.
To hold him to 2 points in the whole half is amazing.
And it's not just, it's the 2 points, but they've done a good job of taking away the opportunities. I think he's had 3 field goal attempts in this entire second half. So they've taken away his looks, and I think a bit of it's got to do with the fatigue, the amount of running he's got to do to create his own shots. That's got to wear you down. And down this end of the floor, he doesn't skip it on the defensive end. He's really applying himself and spending a lot of energy at both ends of the floor.
Brown found the roll of Williams. Tips it in. Three-point lead now to the Phoenix. Alan Williams finds himself in double figures. Brockhoff blocks the shot of Blanchfield. Cotton works so hard to get open. Misses the layup.
That has to be fatigue.
The last two times these teams have met here, they've been 1- and 2-point games. Both have been won by the Phoenix.
Terrible pass. Bryce Cotton's so fundamentally sound. There's the switch and there's a mismatch. So he goes down, works his tail off to front the low post. And Brian Brockhoff with a horrific pass goes straight to Cotton. But if Cotton doesn't make that effort, you know, you go through the motions and just playing, they don't come up with that ball.
Greg Hires courtside.
Yeah, certainly an interesting take to see the engine room of the Perth Wildcats, Mitch Norton being on the bench. You would be wondering whether it's to close out the game with two perimeter threats in Corey Webster and Bryce Cotton, but certainly an interesting take for sure.
There's one of their threats. Are you surprised to see Norton off the court, Copes?
I am, because this is the time he's usually in there hounding that point guard, coming up the floor, getting steals, diving for balls.
Well, I think it's a question of what do you prioritize more right now, and they're clearly prioritizing offense at 51 at halftime, and now they're only at 83. Scoring has really dried up, and it's one of those judgments, your decisions you make as a coach, and I like the call because they can't score. They only got 9 points in this quarter.
Yeah. You like the call, but the Perth Wildcats history tells me that they play better another way.
Well, that's true, but it's about the circumstances of this particular game.
Absolutely.
And they just 9 points only in the fourth, only 32 in the second. And now that you're trailing, you got to find a way to score.
And they have for years and years. When they pick it up on the defensive end, they create steals. They get Cotton going with a jump shot. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Cotton out for Blanchfield. That jumps out as well. Good look for him. 3 of 8 for the night. Still plenty of time left in this one. A crowd of 11,000 at RAC Arena. Brockhoff fires away, no good.
This is going up.
This is falling into the must-make category.
And there it is.
Asking you shall receive.
Yes, indeed.
Now that's one, I go back to what you were saying, Coach, in that particular stage. How can you just come home, come off an on-ball and be that wide open?
25 points for Cotton. Now Brown looking to make a good decision.
Tough shot. Bad shot.
Perth playing to take the lead back. This trip down the floor. Webster trying to get creative. His jumper goes.
Here we go.
Timeout, Southeast Melbourne. Wildcats back in front.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Give them a sniff, and that's all they need.
And that's, I think, the reason for the sub. You know, bringing him in. That did not look like a guy that was afraid of the moment offensively. He was 1 of 6 before that one, but took matters into his own hands. And
he's always played like that, too.
Got into a good situation and made a tough bucket.
Timeout. Let's get courtside to Greg High.
Have the absolute pleasure of having Brady Mannix dad here. Kerry, your very first impressions of your first game here in Australia?
These players are grown men. They really get out there and they're physical, and it's a great brand of basketball with very high IQ players and very skilled.
talking about Brady's impact. Obviously, you would love to, get a bit more on the scoreboard, but I thought his intensity straight from the get-go was really pleasing tonight.
Yeah, he's not having his best shooting night, but you got to find ways to contribute in other ways. It's still a learning process against these guys, but hopefully he'll get there.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully you had a good luck charm and you get the Wildcats over the line. Thanks, mate.
Thanks a lot.
You would have seen some basketball over his journey. Kerry Manick, Brady's dad.
Oh, yeah.
But there ain't nothing like an RAC arena crowd.
No, sir. He's got that North Carolina sort of
twang.
Yeah,
twang that I'm used to hearing.
There is Brady Manick. Hasn't had a huge day tonight. 4 points. Still making his way as a professional. Phoenix in possession. They advance the ball. Down one off the inbound. Cal with an easy basket.
The finisher is what they call him.
And they get a quick score out of the inbound. Pressure back to the Wildcats. Cal with the job of trying to stop Cotton.
Good luck. Good luck.
Free throws coming.
Well, they just put it in his hands. Everyone was standing around and just said, "Go do your thing, guys."
On the other hand, I'm isoing Mitch Creek and letting him go to work here. Coming down the court.
Scores locked away at 89. Until now. Six-second differential between the game and shot clock. They swing to Creek, guarded by Travers. He puts the ball on the floor and is fouled over the back.
And that's what I just asked for. I know, game's on the line. Give the ball to this guy and get out of the way. He's going to make something happen.
It is such a tough cover. Ooh. Gee, I don't know whether that was a foul. That looked like a whole lot of ball.
No coach's challenge left for the Wildcats, unfortunately. Coach John Riley. The Red Army on their feet.
Can he make both of these?
Well, throughout the course of his career, he's been variable from the free throw line.
What's he shooting?
74% this season.
Shot that like he knew what he was doing.
No pressure.
Didn't look like a whole lot of hesitation or nerves or being afraid of the moment.
He's their marquee man. Makes the second.
Here we go, fellas.
Perth playing to win the game.
Here we go.
10 seconds remain.
That's the mismatch they want right there.
Here's Cotton. Crosses over on Brockhoff. Kicks it out for Travers. Extra for Blanchfield. Oh, he misses.
Oh, no.
The Phoenix do it again. For the third time in a row, they go to RAC Arena and win a thriller. 91-90.
Big free throws by Mitch Creek. Couldn't ask for a better look for Todd Blanchfield.
There's something special about winning in the Perth.
Well, it is, and then again, we saw this a couple of weeks ago. John really still had a timeout, but he decided to just let them play down the stretch, go to their action, and hey, they got a good look. And missed the shot, but nothing wrong with the look that they got.
Perth had a 5-point lead at three-quarter time. And the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix are starting to build something now. They started the season without access to some of their very best players. Now they're all on the floor. They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
They look a good team.
Well, they do, and Creek was really good, and you know those free throws were big time for what he's able to do. But I thought in that period where it started to get away from him, Ryan Brockhoff stepped up huge. Ended up with 18 points, one of his best outings, I think, in a Phoenix uniform, given the moment and the circumstances and what it required at the time. He was huge, and Williams just keeps impressing me. I think that he's only going to get better as well.
Let's get to Greg Hire. He's got our Foot Locker player of the game.
Mitch, it doesn't get much better than that, mate.
Oh, I honestly thought about that these are the moments you play basketball for, and you know, it almost brings a tear to your eye because I remember playing knockout in 21 with my mum and dad and my sisters in the backyard. My dad just kicked my ass. And I was just thinking, I'm just shooting my dad in the backyard. I got to make these two to kick his ass for a change. So, you know, to hear the fans like that, you know, your legs shake, the floor shakes, and that's kind of why you play basketball.
That's obviously 2 consecutive wins playing against the Wildcats on this court. I bet against you. I thought you were going to miss one. Talk to me about that moment on the free throw line for yourself.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I appreciate it. Lucky you didn't put the house on it. You just go up there and knock them down. I struggled the first couple of games shooting free throws. I always missed the first one, so I just made sure I made the first one. You just got to make 1 out of 2, and at least got OT. But look, the guys did a great job. You know, the last defensive possession was huge. You know, running a double, running a hit on Bryce. Bryce played an incredible game. Holy gosh, he's an incredible player. So, yeah, kudos to him. But amazing job defensively by the boys.
Rowdy's third quarter kept you guys in the game. What was that impact for you guys?
I said it the other week. Rowdy hit that game winner basically for us. He made the technicals, and then he made the 3, and this is just momentum for him. Coming in, just letting it flow with confidence, and every day he's working meticulously on his game, and you respect guys like that wholeheartedly. So, massive props to him, but, you know, setting screens for him, guys getting him open, Sauce, Big Joe. It's a team effort to get a guy up that hot.
Lastly, what does a win like this mean for you guys? Obviously started slowly, but now a healthy lineup. Plenty of confidence?
It's one game at a time. You know, defensively, that's our keystone right now. We went under on Bryce a few times. We have to tidy up some things. O-boards killed us. You know, Toddy, Nordo, these guys are experts at that. And, you know, just like yourself, mate, you play that hard-nosed style of basketball, you have to be harder. Coming in here, you've got to be a 20-point better team. And I think we were lucky tonight. I think they missed some good ones. But, look, win's a win. We'll take it and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Mitch Creek led the way for them early on in the game in particular. Finishes with 22 points. And it's interesting, he said during the week that as a team they're not playing that well. He kind of reinforced that message there, which makes you wonder where they can get to when they do start to play well.
No, and I think we've been saying throughout the call, you look at individually and there's more to give. More to give in a lot of their guys, and big-time guys that they're putting a lot of faith in. But this guy has been solid, really solid at both ends of the floor, and interrupted pre-season, but still able to get it done. Look at the numbers, 8 of 13. Super efficient. 2 of 5 more than solid in the 6 boards, and playing with that, hey, let's be honest, he was lucky. There was a foul there that early on that could have gone either way. He got the benefit of the doubt and still had to step up and make those free throws, though.
Big win for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Without Ryan Brockhoff, you wonder if they could have been or had have even been remotely a chance of being that close. He took over in the third quarter, and he's alongside Greg Hire.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was an absolute superstar in the third quarter and kept them in the game. How did it feel to finally make some shots like that consecutively, not like you don't make shots?
Yeah, it's been a while since I had a quarter like that. So it was obviously nice. Creaky picked up a couple of quick fouls in that third quarter, and you know, we were kind of left, you know, with missing our biggest option. So we ran some plays for me. I was able to get a couple of good looks, and once you make one, you kind of shoot the next one, and the next one went in, you just shoot it from anywhere. So really important just to kind of help keep the team going in Creaky's absence.
First time over here in the West, what was that experience like?
Oh, look, it's an amazing atmosphere here. It's a tough place to play, great place to shoot, so I really enjoyed that. But look, it's such a great advantage for them playing games here, and it was fun atmosphere. The game was close, the crowd is involved, so just happy we got a win.
The crew and broadcast mentioned, you needed someone to step up. You stood up in the third quarter, but I thought Dane Pinno was special as well. Can you talk about that impact?
Yeah, I went up to him after the game and just sort of said, look, his minutes were huge for us. He's not sure exactly when it's coming, how many minutes, but you know what you're going to get out of Dane. He's going to play hard, he's going to rebound, defend, and finish around the basket. So it was really important for us, you know, for those spot minutes and keeping us going.
Does a win like that galvanise the group and really sort of solidify that you guys are definitely championship contenders?
Oh, look, I think it just shows how much we've built over the last few weeks. And, you know, these are games that we probably would have lost last year. So hopefully it's a step forward that we've taken as being able to mature and close out tough games like this in hostile environments. So hopefully it holds us in good stead, and it's always good to pick up a win over here.
Congratulations, mate. You had a heck of a game. Your job as a carpenter, definitely no chance, but well done, mate.
Just as well he could shoot, because he's not a great carpenter, there's no doubt about that. But, gee, that's a quarter of ownership by Ryan Brockhoff. The chips were down, someone had to step up, and he decided that he was the man to do it.
Absolutely. Mitch Creek got into foul trouble, and this guy seen that first shot go down, and like he said, he was hunting for the ball the next time. Every time he touched it, he let it fly, and he's that good of a shooter. I mean, he can get going quick.
And the other point is you're going to look at this game, and Dane Pinot's not going to get a lot of credit, but he came on at a very, very crucial time. As we have a look at Ryan Brockhoff's numbers there. Look, 6 of 8, that is, and 4 of 6 from 3. Knocked down his free throws. He's got his 18 points. But Dane, when they really struggling with the on-ball screens, he came in and changed that pattern that was emerging early in the third.
We're going to come back and wrap it up on the other side of this. What a night it's been. What an outstanding contest between these two teams. The Phoenix win it 91-90. You're watching the Hungry Jacks NBL, and that is the sign of a team that is starting to build something very, very good. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix win 3 games in a row. You can see what it meant to them as well. They've got no fear when it comes to playing at RAC Arena. They win 91-90. The flip side is the Perth Wildcats have now lost 3 games in a row.
It is, and you know, they'll dissect this game, and it's interesting. Different coaches have different methods, but that's twice now down the stretch that John really, he had one time, well, certainly he showed one time on our screen that he decided not to use. So that's one of the challenges you face, and in those 2 decisions, for whatever reason, you say, oh, well, Todd got a good look at it, reliable generally a reliable three-point shooter, not having a great season, but got a wide open look. And so how do you judge that? That's something that I think could be dissected. But overall, I think Phoenix were outstanding in big moments. This game had a real look and feel that the Perth Wildcats were going to get hold of it straight after halftime. They got out, they had the scoreboard ticking over, they get up 9 or 10 up, something of that area. But then it was just, and their star, Mitch Creek, gets his 4th foul. But they showed great maturity and composure. Didn't get overawed by the situation, really knuckled down on the defensive end, and were able to find a way to get that scoreboard moving.
And the good thing about Southeast Melbourne is they're relatively a new team. They got 3 new imports. It's going to take some time for them to gel, but it seems like they've been playing together forever. I mean, the fact that Mitch Creek get into foul trouble and these guys step up and keep the lead or stay close to Perth in Perth means a lot.
Well, there's the look of the game, and you can see that not a lot in it between. The field goal percentage by Phoenix ended up going their way, and the rebounds, pretty even, assists, pretty even, and as such, it's a 1-point game, and that makes sense. And the turnover's almost the same as well, that we don't see there. Phoenix with the 12, the Wildcats with the 11. So it was a tight game right throughout, and you start to get a few little concerns when it comes to the Perth Wildcats. So they've got a really good team, but how they bring it all together, but feel good about the Phoenix with the talent.
Just going to ask you whether there is any concerns for Perth. That's 3 in a row now.
Yeah, I don't know, Cubs. You don't get the worry beats. I don't think you need to overcompensate, but they've got some decisions. They're still trying to refine the roles. They didn't go with Manic in crunch time, and he spent a lot of time on the bench, so they're still trying to figure things out for sure.
Here's what's coming up tomorrow on the Hungry Jacks NBL. The hits just keep coming. We've got Melbourne United up first. What a big week it has been for them. Dean Vickerman has been in the news. Caroline was out, Caroline's back in, and now he's a Warrior, and they take on the Illawarra Hawks, who'll be looking to bounce back after last night. And then the Sydney Kings up against the Cairns Taipans will be the later game. Ooh. Xavier Cooks, and what a start to the season that he has made. That is going to see us out here. Great night for basketball. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix winning 91-90 on behalf of these two legends, on behalf of Greg Heyer, and behalf of our team behind the scenes as well. Thanks for being with us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.
I didn't know where I was going. Oh, I got lost too. Big too long. God damn, 6 and 11.
Simon, a bit to unpack on that, just your initial thoughts and takeaways.
Thoughts and takeaways. Look, I think early in the game, I didn't mind our first quarter. I was really disappointed with our second quarter. Look, we saw last year how the pressure can build in Perth when teams are on the ropes here. And we talked about it before the games, like, you're going to have a bit of juice, there's a bit to play for. And we felt historically, I know this is a different Perth team, but historically, this team, the Wildcats that is, they get offensive boards, they kill you. And I watched back the Cairns game during the week where they played really well,
And it was the offensive board, kick out 3, offensive board, kick out 3. And we gave them those in the second quarter. So that kind of hung in my brain for a lot of the game. Like, I was disappointed with that. Offensively, I thought we were pretty good as long as the ball was shifting. You know, sometimes when fatigue kicks in, there's a lot of talent on the floor. We got a lot of offensive talent. But when fatigue kicks in, sometimes the decision-making goes out the window and we put the ball on the floor a little too much. Overall, though, really, anytime you come in here and get a win, you're thrilled. Love this guy's second half. You know, obviously got foul trouble in the first half, didn't play. Creaky to abstain from the 5th foul, and guys were going at him trying to draw it. Just an amazing effort and you know, like, locked the game up for us. So his second half, Creaky's play down the stretch. Alan Williams, I thought, was brilliant. And just the team effort to subdue, you know, the best player in the history of the NBL in that second half. You know, like, he busted our ass in the first half, as Bryce does. And it was sort of like, okay, now we've got a job ahead of us. We really need to slow him down. So I was pleased with some of the shots Perth made. You know, like some of the shots, you see some of those guys knocking down perimeter shots. They're like, well, I'd rather them shooting it than the ball being in Bryce's hands, and they go in. You're like, well, pat him on the butt and let him go back in D. But, you know, overall, I'm pretty happy.
You touched on a few things, but if you can extend on a couple, the man next to you, when Mitch was off in foul trouble, to come off in that third quarter and keep scoring, ticking over. Was it foul trouble? Why you didn't see a second in the second quarter?
Yeah, no, he had 2 quick ones, and you know, this is a very difficult place to play in sometimes, and it's easy for, you know, you can go out there and do your best not to get a foul, but sometimes it's going to blow anyway. So it wasn't that I don't trust him to play with fouls, it's just that I don't trust some people to not call a foul. And I just wanted to make sure he had fresh legs and was good to go in that second half, and he was brilliant.
Talk through the last Mitch, how big an effort that is in that last quarter to put that performance in, sitting on 4 fouls for the entire time.
It was amazing. It was really good. You know, both sides of the ball, he was challenging and putting heat on the Perth defence. You know, we played through him a lot down the stretch, and you know, got himself on the rim, and you know, made those free throws down the stretch as well, which were key, and closed the game out for us, which is really good.
You've got to have players back now for 2, 3, 4 games that you didn't have in the first couple. Are you feeling now that they're gelling together and you're getting where you want to be?
Look, yes, we've won 3 in a row. There's certainly progress. Joe Chi's got a long way to go, just with his health and getting his fitness back. You know, you saw him tonight. It's a little bit of a struggle for him at the moment. We're in that quandary where we're trying to get miles into his legs to get him fit, because he's had a hell of a long layoff with illness. We're trying to get him back fit, but he's pulling up sore from doing the work to get fit. So we've just got to sit down and have a chat with him and see what we can do best to get him up to speed. He's got a FIBA break coming up. He'll be back playing with China, and you know, that's going to be, you know, a really difficult task for him as well. So we've got to make sure he's in shape for that, but also for what we do. And Trey, I thought he was really good tonight defensively. Did a wonderful job on Bryce at times, and but he's still got a long way to go. I still feel like that he can get more explosive. I've seen him more explosive last year. He's just still working into fitness.
As when others were in foul trouble and you were coming in, you've got some fouls, but you've got to try and score as well. What was your focus points going in, trying to avoid fouling and knowing you had to be the man for a little while everything else settled down?
Look, the fouls I got in the first half were on some switching and in the post, and I thought I got some blocks, but those are obviously the 50-50 calls, and they weren't going our way. But we just made a little tweak defensively, and then when I saw Creaky go off, you know, we'd run a couple of plays for him, and I'd been able to hit a couple of shots, and it was mainly just staying aggressive and finding shots if they came, if the defense was sagging, and you get into a rhythm and the hoop looks bigger than what it is. So it was nice to have a few go in, but you know, I think we had some really good contributors throughout the night. When I was out in the first half, Ruben Durangi stepped up and had some big minutes, you know, a couple buckets. I think he had 6 rebounds and pretty quickly. Dane Pinot in the second half. Like, we just have guys that can step up and we know what we're going to get from them. So even if we do have guys out with foul trouble, we're able to cover them and know what we're going to get.
Same teams come in and out. You guys in the last game of last year, how many different percent different? A lot of teams in the second half of last year as well. Is
this no longer as intimidating as what the history says it should be coming here? Is it a bit easier to play now than what it used to be?
Oh, it's hard for me to say. This is my first time. I was injured at the end of last season, unfortunately, and didn't make the trip. And I think the year before, that half year, we'd already played Perth or COVID. So it was my first trip, but I love the atmosphere. It's great to see so many fans in the stands, passionate. They were loud at times. We had trouble hearing plays. Like, that's the kind of atmosphere you want to play in front of. And it doesn't make it any... It's not an easy place to play, but it's a rewarding place if you're able to get a win. So, look, it's still an advantage for them. And I just think they just haven't figured out their identity quite yet. And they probably will, and be tough second half of the season.
I'll throw that one to you, Simon. I think it's 3 times in a row you're winning out by 1 or 2 points. Can we throw that same question to you? Is the fear of coming here gone now, or it used to be?
I don't know if there's ever been a fear to come here. I feel there's an excitement. I mean, it's a wonderful venue, and the crowd's second to none. And like, I've been here on the back of 40-point losses and come in here and won on the back of a missed layup. You know, like the two extremes. But it's always fun to come in here for the challenge, and that's what you seek in sports. You know, when you're a kid, you play, you just love the competition, and there's no better competition than coming in here. You know, like, yeah, we won our last 3 here, but, you know, Jesse missed the layup. We went to overtime the next one, and Todd knocks that one down. We're on a huge losing streak here. We still come in here the next time looking forward to it. So, look, we've had a bit of luck. That's all I want to say.
You got to back up again later on in the weekend. Is there any management of players you need to worry about? You've got a few that come back from injury.
Yeah, look, I haven't spoken to Creaky yet. I mean, we kept him under 30, which is, well, we didn't keep him under 30. He was kept under 30. Which is in our favour for the Adelaide game. We're trying to reduce his minutes this year, but he's so bloody good, and his coach wants to keep him out there all the time. So, look, it's good that he's got his down. Rody obviously he had a rest in the first half. Gary's going to be someone we have to look after, and Trey. You know, like, he's played 30 minutes tonight, 29.56, and he copped a pretty, good hit from Nordo on that layup, and we'll see how that comes up. But we've got guys there who'll be fresh, who'll be able to step in if there's anyone who's got some fatigue.
Yeah, Simon, Andrew Kenyon from NBL podcast. Nice to
How you doing? I can barely see. There he is.
Just wanted to ask a question around strategy. It seemed like you were able to reverse the ball a couple of times and then find some good looks near the basket, which was a good strategy on your behalf. And then it seemed like they tried to compensate that and opened up Rowdy for some shots in the second half. Was that the plan going in, or just how it played out?
No, not necessarily. I mean, sometimes when you've got the offensive talent that we have, and you just sort of, it's like a boxing match. You go in, you sort of feel each other out for a round or two, and then you find something that's working and you commit to it. The majority of our strategy is about the other end of the floor. We've had people that we want to attack from an offensive standpoint, but there's multiple ways of getting into people that we want to go after. The majority of our week preparing is about how do we want to defend Bryce, how do we want to defend Travers, and how do we want to defend Nordo. Like, that's where most of the strategy comes in. The one thing tonight, we were pretty good in the paint with our scoring, and that does free up a shooter like Rowdy. And sometimes, guys just face guard him, and he's out there, and it's almost like he's a decoy. And what it does is it creates extra space for us to operate in. And when we're punching the ball around the perimeter and we're putting it on the floor and we're attacking north-south, we're a very difficult team to guard. For us, it's still learning, still finding ways where we can get a little bit more efficient at the offensive end, but it's starting to come. I mean, crikey, where we shoot from the floor. 51% tonight, so that's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on, I can't give up strategy in the press, mate.
That's right. I'm representing the fans. They want to know. Thank you, mate.
It's requested by Southeast.
Yeah, requested to tap it up on the front. How do you reflect on it now?
Like that was a good basketball game. A game you expect to have, a few aspirations of playoffs and better. They're a good, talented team, and they really bought it tonight.